So, the question is, are you afraid of telling the people around you what you really feel? Um, do you stop yourself from actually telling the truth? Are you afraid of them not liking you? Are you afraid of being left alone, being abandoned by your friends or family or people you know because of the way you want to express yourself, the way you feel about certain things, your truth, etc., etc. So observing this and being aware that it's happening all the time, even though you know it or you don't know it, is happening. You are not living in your full potential. You're not living in your truth because of what other people will think or say about you or talk about you or whatever, you know? So you want to free yourself from that burden. You want to free yourself from the idea that it matters what other people think about you or it matters what other people say about you, their opinion about you, not the truth about you. Because if the truth is that you're a liar, that you're deceiving people, and you're not, people cannot trust you, then that's the truth, and you will know that. You know it yourself with the relationship you have with yourself. How honest are you about yourself, with yourself? Are you doing things that is shady? Are you doing things that you're not open about, that you can't speak freely about? That means that you're not trustworthy, that you're doing stuff that you yourself don't agree with. This is not your full potential, this is not your truth, but you're doing it because you think that nobody's watching. But I'm here to tell you that you're watching. You're the one watching. You're the one who is going to live with yourself. You're the one who is going to have a relationship with every single moment of this life. This is your life, and you are going to have the relationship with this life through your own experience. So your choices and your actions will reflect an emotion, a feeling about yourself that you will have to live with. So if you're cheating on your wife, you're cheating on your girlfriend, you know that it's not right. So you have that feeling within yourself that you're not actually honest about what it is that you're doing, your actions that you're taking. Um, it can be any you're taking stuff that is not yours from beginning. Um, you give yourself reasons to take them. You argue with yourself, well, they don't need it as much as I do. They forgot it here, so it's open for me to take. Um, all these shady stuff that is just like, that is not honest, because if somebody was watching you take that stuff or cheat on your wife, that it's not the right thing to do. You know that, but you're doing it because you think that nobody's watching, and that makes it okay, or that makes it that you can slip away with it. But truly, you're not slipping away with anything, because you're watching. You're the one watching yourself doing these stuff, and this will give you a sense of your own feeling about yourself. So even though you're stealing behind people's eyes, or you still have that feeling with yourself, you cannot live fully freely because you're shady, you're hiding. And it can be with anything that you're hiding. It can be your sexual preferences, it can be the things that you eat, um, it can be anything that, there's a truth, and there's also this avoidance of the truth, and there are lies. And avoiding the truth is basically lying. You can shape the truth, of course, and that will have some kind of truth to it. But being straight honest with something is the ultimate truth. Being straight honest with yourself, being straight honest with other people right away when it's there. You tell the truth or you don't. And if you don't, that means that you're trying to avoid the truth. You're trying to avoid the honest expression of yourself. If there was a situation where you were stealing and you lied about it, you felt that you were lying, that made an impact on yourself and also on the people around you. Also, that what you're creating is also affecting the world around you. If it's positive or negative, doesn't matter. It will affect you, and it will affect the reflection of the world around you. You are the expression of your own inner world, and if you're not honest with that world, you will see and you will experience a world that is dishonest. So your reflection is the mirror. You see yourself in other people, and you can also trick yourself with pointing fingers at they are the ones who are doing it. But actually, it's a part of you that you haven't healed, that you haven't dealt with, that you are not honest with. And this is what we need to do. We need to be honest. At least not tell lies. You can shape the truth to still be honest. To have a greater impact on for example, if you want to start teaching other people something, instead of going right on, because that can scare people away from the truth, rather you can form the truth so the truth will still be said, it will still be felt, but you're not actually right on. So you can shape the argument that will shape the understanding of what it is that you're actually talking about, which is the truth. And the truth will always set you free. The truth is the higher self. The truth is your highest vibrational being. That's the truth. And the lower vibration is when you move yourself from that truth. Then you're stepping down. But you're doing this by choice, because you always have a choice to speak the truth or to be honest. You always have that choice. So you cannot try to trick yourself into, well, I cannot tell the truth because etc, etc. You give yourself reasons to not speak up and tell the truth. It can be, well, if I will say the truth, that means that person will be triggered. It probably will be angry and will not want to be around me anymore. If that's the case, well, then let that be the case. Then let that person leave you, because probably that person was not on the highest frequency of what you could surround yourself with from the beginning. Because if you cannot tell the truth without being jumped on, so to speak, or people go into defense mode as soon as they feel like it's touching them. Like, people try to avoid that it's their fault, when actually nothing is nobody's fault. What is the truth. The truth is there, and when the truth is present, people will feel it. And it doesn't need to be like their truth, or what they're doing behind the curtains or whatever. But if you're just honest with yourself and expressing your honest opinion about stuff, then you're living in your truth. Then you are doing the shadow work, so to speak. um, stepping your game up, risking that people will leave you, risking to break certain um, unhealthy relationships that is causing you to not be able to feel that you can be honest in the full expression of yourself. And we there is this narcissistic consciousness that we all are a part of. We all have these tendencies within us. We can start point fingers that you're the one, but we all have the narcissist within us. Some of us has it more. Some of us live by the narcissist, and some of us just have the knowing about the narcissist, don't act upon that consciousness, but we know it. We so to understand something, you have to be it. That means that we all are narcissists in some way or not. And the narcissist will try to avoid the truth, will try to avoid certain feelings to feel, because the narcissist doesn't want to feel blamed. The narcissist is trying to avoid confrontation of the truth. So the narcissist will parallel, like if you're confronting a certain behavior of the narcissist, it will try to parallel, like it will, like a snake, it will just try to, like a fighter, when you're fighting, it's trying to duck the stuff and trying to avoid it as much as it can. And if it's too much pressure, it will probably leave, because it's not ready to look at itself with honest eyes, to see that, to look at oneself, to see that I actually could be the reason for why I'm living in this reality. It's not actually you and your fault and your fault and this fault and this fault. It's actually, it is the way I see the world. But the narcissist don't want to see that. It don't want to admit that. It wants to still be in this, pointing fingers, blaming others for the way that the narcissist feels or are experiencing the world. So, and only when you live in your own truth, and only when you actually live by your truth and being honest with yourself, you can detect the narcissist. And so what you want to do, like I said, you want to live your life as honest as you can. And I know that you can live 100% honest. Like, that's a reality. And if that means that some people will dissipate from you, it will, move away from you, then who has these narcissistic tendencies, who are not ready to face the truth yet. Everybody will have to face the truth one way or another, but it is a choice. It is always a choice, a freedom of choice, to face the truth or not. And so, again, what you want to do is to eliminate these people from your life that you already know has the tendency to blame you for how they feel. And trying to make you smaller than you are. And in the process of, like, you're making yourself smaller in their presence, you're not allowing yourself, or you don't feel allowed to be able to express your full opinion or your full, because if you do, that means that they will come and they will attack you on your opinion or your truth. And so what you want to become aware of is this people around you that are having these tendencies. But you will see it, you will watch it, observe it when you start speaking your truth. And your truth is not up here. Sit. Stanna. Your truth is not up here. Where is your truth? Where is your truth? If it's not up here, where is your truth? So your truth is here. And when you want to speak your truth, you're speaking from this place, or even further down. You're speaking from the core, from the stomach and below. You're speaking from the root. My dog is clicking around here with her feet, and I think it's really annoying. Go like that. Go like that. What you want to do, like I said, is not to speak from here. Because if you're speaking from here, you're still, you want to speak your truth, even though it triggers people. So the mind game is not to try to speak from a place where you're trying to avoid to trigger people's feelings. Oh, I don't want them to believe that I'm this and this and this, or I don't want them to feel small. I don't want them to feel... All these arguments that you're giving yourself is causing you, yourself, to not be able to express your truth. And your truth is, like I said, it's here and it's further beyond down. So this is the place where you speak from. You can actually hear when you're speaking from this place, it's becoming more grounded. I can go further down and you will feel the vibration is different. I mean what I'm saying. And I'm saying what I'm meaning. But if I go up here and I talk about everything that is, I go up and up and up, trying to be a people pleaser, trying to, be the nice guy, be polite, be... We have a word for it in Swedish. It's hurtig. It's like you're that hurtig person that don't have the problems, and we don't have problems in this world. And how are you? Yeah, good. Okay, bye. You're trying to avoid the foundation of what a human being is and what the experience of this life is, which is feelings, expressions, and experiences. And these experiences and expressions and feelings will not happen here, because this is a dwelling mechanism if you don't use it right. If you're not using your mind with your heart as a, they're working together, you will be experiencing life from that perspective of still living inside of your head, dwelling on things that you should have done, or things that you should do, or things that could have been or should have been, or that they will be in a certain that should be in a certain way in the future, and etc, etc. So, or you have fantasies or imagination of how your full potential life would look like, but you're too afraid of taking action on that because of what other people will think and say about you. So this is what is happening in this world right now, where people consider other people's opinions more important than how you feel yourself about yourself. For example, we take this idea of taking the vaccine, for example, where there was this marketed idea of taking the vaccination because of all these reasons of other people all the time. Well, and they were trying to blame you. So this is the narcissistic consciousness that people even unconsciously were taking on the action of. So because they were too afraid of stepping into their own truth. Like, I'm not going to take that vaccine. I didn't take the vaccine because that's not going into my body. I decide what is my truth, and my truth is that that is not high frequency to me. I believe that if I should live, I should live organically, not only for myself, but if I will have children, then I don't want them to be experiencing something that I can't control because I was listening to the television telling me that I should take the vaccine, telling all the people around me were arguing for taking the vaccine because they felt like they are doing it for the right reason. They are doing it for other people. Well, you should think about other people while you're doing it. Do you hear what I'm saying? This is the argument of mostly most people. Most people was arguing towards this. And these people, if they will watch this video, they will be the one pointing fingers at me now. They will be the one being triggered because they feel like it hits them, you know. And so the truth is, I'm here speaking my truth, and yes, I will trigger people because they think that they are right and I think I'm right, and that's it. So they will try to jump on you, having comments about your behavior. Well, starting pointing fingers right away. This is what the narcissist's consciousness is doing. And becoming more aware of this will give you the empowerment of just not take it personally. Yeah? So we don't want to take stuff personally. Even though it upsets us, it's maybe, you feel the heart is starting and you're going through all these emotions because, but this is the energy that you want to feel. You want to feel this, feel it through, feel it all to the end until it doesn't affect you in the way that it would if you're trying to avoid it, if you're trying to push it away, if you're not allowing this to take place, whatever wants to take place. If it's like people start to scream at you, people start to, just let them do that, just be safe yourself. Like if they start to throw stuff, you should probably move out of the way because you can be hurt and you don't want to expose yourself to being hurt, of course. But when we're talking about emotions, when we're talking about feelings, you need to be able to let that go, let that pass through, let it be what it is. Give yourself permission to not take it personally, because we live in a world where most people live by the idea that somebody knows better than them, that all these scientists knows more than I do, and the government has more knowledge than I do, and stuff like that. And most people believe this. They watch the television and they believe that because they say it on the television, it must be true. And it's going to be hard for people to hear this message from me now when they are looking at television and they were like, well, it doesn't matter. This is my belief. This is my honest expression of what I have observed in this life. I'm 34, going on 35. And already when I was a teenager, I could see this happening. I was awake. We call it awake when you're actually conscious about what's going on. Early in my life. And people didn't like the way I spoke. People didn't like my arguments all the time because they felt hit. They felt like, you're talking about me. Aren't you talking about me? Well, maybe if you feel like you're being hit from this, then probably I'm talking about you. But that doesn't mean that I don't love you, or that I can't love myself for being in my honest expression, or that I somehow need you in my life that much that I cannot tell you what I feel and think. You know, I don't need you so much in my life that I'm not able to speak my truth and being honest and having my desires met or having my needs met, for example. Um, if you can't meet me where I want to be met, or feel like this is where the level of being met is, then I gotta let you go. That's the thing. And it doesn't matter how long we have had the relationship, it doesn't matter what we have been experiencing in the past, it doesn't matter. What matters is how I feel about myself, and am I free enough to speak my honest opinion without being attacked, without being ridiculized, without having this tension all of a sudden, where we can have a conversation without having to deal with drama. So again, speak your truth, be honest with yourself and with other people about yourself, about how you feel. If you feel sad and people are asking you, how do you feel? Or how are you? I'm sad. Don't stop yourself from telling the truth because you're afraid of what other people will feel if you're speaking your truth. Yeah? This is how we will move from the lower vibration frequencies in this world where most people live, in the third dimension, where there's fear, there's doubt, there is this uncertainty. We want to move higher up, and we're going to move into from 3D, we call it 3D. We're going to move from 3D into 5D consciousness. And this is a matter of choice. Either you choose to live in fear and doubt and uncertainty, or you choose to live from your heart, from the truth of who you are, when all this blame and shame doesn't exist anymore, when you don't believe in that bullshit anymore, that is your fault, that the world is the way it is, or that the people's destinies were your fault in somehow. Everybody has their own choice all the time. Every single fucking second, every millisecond, anybody can choose differently. So it was not your fault. It never was your fault. Well, if I didn't do well, yes, you did something, but that doesn't mean that the person you offered whatever to didn't have a choice and continuously have a choice today to change. So you want to step out of blaming yourself and blaming others. That's what you want to step out of. You want to step out of shame, shaming yourself and shaming others for what they decide to do in their life. What you want is to find more love within your heart for yourself. And when you do that, you will be able to share that love with the world around you. And you will see from new eyes, so to speak. You will see from loving, understanding, unconditional love, that you will understand how things became what they have become. Because you're not looking at it from a judgmental perspective of the mind. but you have a certain feeling about certain things. And when you do, you can actually let things go. You can let people go. You can let past experiences go. You can let your old self go, because that's what you want to do. You want to let go of the idea that you know who you are, in that sense. Or you think you know who you are, because you know who you are. You are love, your energy, your unconditional love within this expression of this life, this experience that we have, which is feeling. And here you already have all the answers. So in a sense, you know who you are. But when you think you know who you are, you don't. You think you are this person, this character, this, you got a name. People gave you a name when you were born, and they programmed you all already then with a name. So your name is actually not your real name, because your real name you have inside. You haven't just figured it out yet. You haven't asked yourself, what is my real name? What do I want to be called, actually? And if I would have a real name, what would it be? What do I resonate with? For example, I was given the name Johannes, and that's a character that I was playing, that I thought that I should be a certain way, I should act in a certain way. But later in my life, I realized that that's just an idea. That's not actually truth. That's not my truth anymore, at least. Because I thought that I was somebody, or trying to be somebody, trying to be this character. And I think that most of us are experiencing this, where you live in a world where you have expectations of you, that you should be doing certain things, acting in a certain way, just to fit in, just to people please, to not trigger other people. And especially here in Sweden, we are really afraid of confronting each other. We are so afraid of conflict that we are just avoiding each other, avoiding to trigger each other's feelings and emotions, because we rather want to be in the safe. I want to be liked. I don't want problems. I don't want to stick out. But this is causing a ripple effect. Later on in the line, we are living in the ripple effect of choices that our ancestors were taking in Sweden, for example. And there are different parts of the planet where they don't act in this way. I've traveled the world. I've seen that it can be different. But here in Sweden, there is this elephant. There is this huge elephant in the room that nobody talks about. Nobody dares to talk about it, because that means that I need to stick out from the herd. And I don't want to do that, because that means conflict, and that means that uncertainty, or that feeling of unknown. So I want to stick here. I want to be in this box. I'm safe here. But you're not safe here. You're living in this fear-based belief system that is causing you to have this experience of fear. Basically a frequency which is always there. It always has been there. It will always be there, but it is your choice to tune into that frequency, as it is your choice to tune into any other different frequency there is in this universe. So again, living in fear, it is your choice. I've been doing it. And it was my choice. And for some time, I thought that it wasn't my choice. But later on, I realized that it was my choice. And it was up to me to change it. So I did. So I started to work on myself. I started to face the fears. I started to dealt with the fears. I started to write down what my fears are, dealing with them, confronting them. And this is how I stepping further and further away from that frequency and tuning into a different frequency where I feel more safe about expressing myself. I feel more safe with life itself, as I was traumatized. That trauma doesn't affect me anymore in the same way, because I'm starting to take small steps towards the fears and facing them and dealing with them, knowing that I can do this. This is just in my mind telling me I should protect myself from these experiences because of the trauma that I've had. And that trauma could be actually from past lives. Like, past life means like the second ago is my past life, the 5 minutes ago is my past life, 10 minutes ago is my past life, 1 year ago is my past life, and etc, etc. And that goes back to even before I was born into this world. I probably had past lives beyond that, because energy doesn't disappear. It doesn't, like, you cannot destroy energy. That means that the energy that is fueling this vessel to be alive right now is the essence of that energy that I am a part of. So I have a part of this unconditional energy that continues to exist forever, and it has always existed. And that energy has all the experiences you can imagine. And that means, in a sense, in a human idea of a linear perspective, which doesn't exist, it's just an idea that we have here that something is linear, but everything is actually happening now. And in this now, I have more experiences than only this experience. And this is what I'm talking about, past lives. If so you can understand what it is that I'm talking about in a human idea of understanding this, which is just a limited, in a way, kind of limited understanding of what it actually is and what we actually are, and what we actually are a part of. So I lost the thread there a little bit where I was talking, but I was talking about past life and experiences and stuff. I was talking about being in your truth. Be ready to deal with conflict. Don't be afraid of showing up in your life for yourself, standing up for yourself and what you believe in to be true. Don't dim your own light because of the fear of taking somebody else's light or making somebody else feel small because you shine your light, because that idea will only dim not only your own light, but it will also dim other people's lights. Because if you don't show the potential of what is possible to be, then how can we evolve? How can somebody who doesn't have that confidence and that shining light that you have, how can we learn from each other if everybody's just dimming their light for everybody else? We will just stay in that frequency of fear, not daring to step up, because you're taking too much space. So this video that I make today is basically about that. Dare to fucking take space. Dare to be the one that people, look at and what the fuck, they react like, out of the box. You're out of the box, because that's what's the new, that is what the new reality will look like. It will be people stepping out of this box of fear of triggering other people, triggering their parents, triggering family members around them, triggering friends, triggering whoever, whatever, whenever. You meet a person at the store, random people, whatever. If you're not ready to